All right, guys. So I have Austin here from Tintstitute, right? If I pronounce that right.
Correct.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. Maybe introduce your company, what you guys do, that sort of thing.
Sure. So I'm Austin Cook. I'm 32 years old. Been in the industry for 13 years. I own the Tintstitute, which is an online platform, and then in addition, I own a brick and mortar company in California, San Luis Obispo, California, and its name is Quality. And similar to what you were saying about the company that you're going to be working for, we do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
We're a full functioning sign shop. We do all types of signs. We do window film, we do wraps, we do PPF, we do detailing, we do powder coating, we do embroidery, we do screen printing. We're a team of 10, and my brick and mortar shop hovers right around the $1 million mark in revenue.
Oh, nice. And how long have you been running that?
I've owned the company for 13 years.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you just...
So I bought the company.
Okay.
The company has been in business for 20 years.
Okay.
I purchased it in 2008, and when I purchased it, it was a window tinting company. So our roots are window tinting. I purchased it, and the name was Quality Window Tinting. That was the only thing that the husband and wife did. The revenue hovered around $150,000 to $200,000 in revenue. And then since then, I've gotten married to Michaela, and when she came on board, we had to grow the company substantially to pay for her.
That makes sense.
Because she went to college, she got a 4-year degree in economics, and she got a great job making $60K right out of college. So to be able to convince her and get her on board, we had to grow the company to be able to pay her.
All right, that makes sense. So you said you have 10 employees, or a
Correct.
team of 10?
Yes.
Okay. So what exactly is Tintstitute? Is that...
So the Institute started as instructional videos.
Okay.
And it morphed into much more than that. So on the Tintstitute, we obviously have instructional videos. In addition, I put out a ton of free content on Instagram.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
But in addition, the Tintstitute is also an e-commerce store where we help businesses with anything they may need to open up a shop. So anything from consulting, vehicle graphics. If you don't own a plotter and you want to get into PPF and you want a kit cut out, we'll cut it out for you and mail it out. Stickers, business cards, hats, anything that you see that we have for our shop, we will sell for your shop.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So, like, you make it and then you sell it for people? Like, sorry.
If you want to start a shop and you want business cards.
Oh, okay. No, I'm understanding now.
If you want to get hats made, not Tintstitute hats, but
no.
companies window tinting, anything you need, we offer. So it's a one-stop shop to open your shop, from learning how to tint or install PPF or wrapping, all the way to everything you need from consulting. So we'll hold people's hands, so to speak, in walking them through step by step opening their shop.
That includes training for PPF, tinting, wrapping, all that stuff?
Exactly, but that's where it started, but we'll hold your hand as far as getting a business license, acquiring your contractor's license, choosing your insurance company, choosing your credit card processing machine,
So literally every step.
Literally every step. So I'm marketing towards who I was. 19 years old.
Yeah.
I absolutely don't want to go to college, and I have no skills. I come across Austin Cook, and I go, wow, this is what I want to do. I made it very easy for a 19-year-old to pitch this to his parents. Hey, I found a guy who will teach me everything, and it's not a franchise. You own your own business, obviously.
Yeah.
This is a one-stop shop. I help people do what I did, which is start a company.
That's awesome.
Right into the company, I purchased my company.
Yeah, no, that's great. But you brought it up in revenue a lot more than what it was doing, right? So you've improved the company a lot and added a lot to it.
Substantially, in a revenue standpoint and physical space and team members. When I bought the company, it was a husband and wife. They didn't have any team members.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you've grown it a lot in the 13 years.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
A while ago, a couple of years ago, I owned it longer than it had been in business before.
That's sweet. Congratulations on it, man. That's awesome. I like hearing stories like that. Okay, I did have a couple people on Instagram ask questions that they wanted me to ask you.
Excellent.
Well, two people. One says, planning on starting to practice wrap and tint. What are the tools that I need to get started?
Okay, so the basic tools are your knife, your squeegee, your gun. There's a lot of basic tools. The stuff that's not so obvious is one thing I didn't have for a while, and I can't believe I even did wraps without having one, is an IR heater. You don't have an IR heater off Amazon. It just helps heat the bumper pieces a lot easier, a lot more consistent. You can do it with a heat gun. It's just you're going to spend a lot more time. You're not going to get as consistent of a stretch.
No, I agree with that. I don't have an IR yet, but I want to get one soon.
Yeah, it's almost mandatory. And Amazon has one that's a great price. We've had it for 4 or 5 years, and I think it was under $200.
Do you mind sending me the link to that, or do you not have it?
No, I'll get you the link, yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Just once we're done here, that'd be awesome. And then another guy...
Well, there's a couple other tools I'd like to mention.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
Another tool that I went a long time without is a steamer. You want a steamer for PPF. I know he mentioned tint and wraps, but a steamer is also super convenient to have for doing wraps, especially for doing your post-heat. If you have installation scratches, it's great for alleviating those scratches. Versus a heat gun, you can do it with heat gun, you can do it with a torch, you can even do it with the IR heater. Actually, my favorite tool again for fixing the installation scratches is the IR heater, but a steamer is also a great choice. Let me think of some tools that maybe aren't so obvious. Ooh, a big one, if you want to talk about big tools, is a lift. I don't know how these people do paint protection and wraps without lifts. I mean, you got to have so much patience to be crawling around on the ground all day. You'd be surprised at how inexpensive you can get a scissor lift. A 4-post lift, okay, great if you have the money, but you can get into a scissor lift for $1,500.
Yeah, they're not crazy.
No, they're not crazy. And we bought a bend pack, which is the name brand, for $2,500. So again, once you have it, it's like I literally could not imagine not having it, especially when you're doing PPF and the floor is all wet.
Yeah, no joke. That's annoying. I've done that a lot.
Those are some not so obvious tools that I would recommend.
Awesome. This guy says, tell him Modify Me asked if he's ever done a Porsche 944 S2 before.
I honestly don't know. The truth of the matter is, I'm not really a car guy. I did post on the page. I'm not a car guy. I don't have all the makes and models. Some of my team members, they're like car nuts. They know exactly what make and model and package of cars when they come in. I'm not into spending money in things that go down in value, so I'm not in the car enthusiast part of it. I'm in this as a businessman,
that makes sense.
And you don't have to be a car enthusiast to love this industry and to be able to capitalize on this industry. Now, I appreciate a nice car, don't get me wrong, but I've done a lot of Porsches. I don't know if I've done that Porsche. Okay,
it's an older Porsche.
Then I probably haven't, because we have a rule of thumb: we don't work on cars older than 1995. So
okay.
Any older than that, then we have.
That makes sense. Why? Just question. Why do you have that rule?
Because
paint-wise,
our profits go down.
Yeah.
No, nothing to do with paint. Just because our profits go down when we work on cars like that, we end up, having to deal with issues. We've got an abundance of customers that want to bring in brand new cars. We enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's easier. Plain and simple, it's easier. We're at a point where we pick and choose the customers we want.
No, that makes sense. That's great.
And that's not what I would tell a customer. Okay, being transparent. I really pride myself for the Tintstitute being totally transparent. So that's why I'm openly saying I'm not a car enthusiast. I drive a 2003 Tahoe with 220,000 miles on it. And what I would tell a customer is when we work on older cars like that, we're not able to get a job that we're proud of. Now that's true, but it's bent. And when I say proud, I mean I'm not proud of the profit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not going to make enough money on your car. No, I'm not going to do that. But I am going to say what we have found is when we work on cars older, we don't put out a product that we're proud of. And leave it at that.
That's fair. You're not lying to them.
No, I never lied, but I do choose my words very carefully.
Yep.
So, I've been leaving reviews for companies that I admire on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
And somebody reached out and said, "Hey, you left me a review. Thank you very much, but we didn't do any work for you." And I said, "I didn't mention that you did any work for me in my review. I said these people have an amazing facility. They're so passionate, it's contagious." That's an honest review from what I see on Instagram.
Yeah.
So this is going into a little tip. You can get reviews. You can give reviews without ever using a company.
It's true. You can, absolutely.
You can give a review based upon someone's personality, someone's values. If you see somebody pick up a piece of trash outside, you could go, "That's a great guy. I would highly recommend their company. If he's willing to go pick up trash that someone else left on the ground, I trust him with my car." So,
I like that mindset. That's awesome. So you guys, you said you do like embroidery and all that stuff, right?
correct.
That's sweet.
Now, we don't do many of those services. We do not do in-house.
Oh, okay. So you outsource.
We outsource a lot of different things. What we do in-house, just for those people that are listening, we do wraps in-house, we do paint protection in-house, we do window tinting in-house. Our bread and butter is residential commercial window tinting.
Okay.
We do have a 64-inch Muto printer.
I was just going to ask if you had a printer.
Yeah, we print a lot of signs, banners, sandwich boards, vehicle wraps, dye-bond signs, things of that nature. The things we outsource powder coating, but we facilitate the whole process.
Okay.
So you're going to leave your car here for a week. It's going to sit in our shop in a locked space rather than in your driveway on jack stands.
Yep.
We're going to take the wheels off. We're going to take the wheels to a wheel company, have them take the tires off, and facilitate the whole process.
Okay.
Because obviously, if you want your wheels powder coated, the wheels have to be rebalanced.
Yeah.
The tires have to be taken off, but we don't actually do the powder coating. Same with embroidery. We collect the deposit, and then we take it to a local embroiderer here in town that we work with.
Okay. Is there a reason that you would do that instead of getting your own embroidery machine? Or is it just...
Absolutely. Because we would have to do more volume to make it make sense. In addition, our expenses would skyrocket because we'd also have to increase our space.
Okay. No, that's a perfect excuse, or a perfect reason. I was just curious on that. Because...
Yeah, we want to outsource as much as possible. There's a lot of marketing companies that don't do anything in-house.
Oh yeah, I know of a few of those that do outsource pretty much everything.
Yeah. There's a few that literally just have a desk and a computer, and they outsource everything.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that are doing keychains, mugs, things like that, they get them made overseas, and they're just collecting the orders.
Yeah, one of my older brothers works for a company that does that. They just outsource pretty much everything.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Especially once you've built a reputation that they're coming here. I mean, they know we don't do anything in-house. This is like a common conversation I have all the time with other shops that I'm mentoring and that are doing consulting. Everyone wants to know how to increase revenue, how to grow in the winter when tinting and PPF, or PPF doesn't get slow in the winter. But if they get slow during the slow season, how to bring in revenue. I say add services every single time. Add services that you can outsource. Because immediately on the first job, you can profit. If you're going to buy an embroidery machine for $30,000, hypothetically, you're not profiting for the first six months to a year.
No.
And then you have to train someone how to do it. It's the same reason why you wouldn't work on your own car in your driveway. Because the first time you do it, you're not going to do it quickly because you're going to have to learn.
Yeah. Correct. No, that's interesting. I just say that because we have an embroidery machine. We do screen printing. I have the screen printing, all the equipment. We have we're getting all the equipment to do everything in-house. So I was just curious why you outsource more of that.
Yeah, I'm moving out of the brick and mortar business model altogether.
Okay.
I mean, in the next 10 years, I
outsource everything.
Brick and mortar business model. Well, I'll just completely be out of this part of the business. I'll be consulting full time. Okay. And I'll still be doing instructional videos and things of that nature. But I'll be traveling, consulting, and our whole entire revenue will be from behind a computer.
Okay, that makes sense.
2021. The brick and mortar business model is becoming outdated.
It is. It is. You're right. That's.
But with that said, someone's always you can't get your Windows tenant through a computer.
No, so someone has to do it.
Yeah, someone has to do it. It's not to say it's going to die or anything like that. I'm not one of those weirdos that think that. But I'm personally just moving out of that. I want to be able to spend time with our growing family and work from behind a computer.
Oh, that makes sense. So you're saying you do consulting and stuff like that. What does that all consist of? Is that just part of the helping people get their business going?
And or people that already have businesses. It's
okay.
Right now.
So do you help people just grow?
Correct. It all depends on what problems they're having.
Yeah. Okay.
It could literally be anything. Like I said, it could be choosing, which is one thing that we talked about recently with the company, is choosing the correct phone system for the company. For the longest time, we had a phone system here at our shop that was cordless. You don't want a cordless phone system for your shop if you've got multiple team members. You're not going to pick up the phone quick enough. You need to be picking up your phone on the first 2 rings, at latest the first 2 rings. Hypothetically, you want to be on the first ring.
Yeah.
Secondly, you don't want, I understand some people have to, and I did too for a long time. You don't want to be answering your phone in the back seat of a car while you're in the middle of doing a window installation. A window film installation, because you're just not going to be able to get the same service as companies that aren't doing that. Now, everyone has to start there, so there's no harm in that, but you want to eventually grow out of that as fast as possible.
That makes sense.
So part of what I'm evolving into as well is talking more about personal finance and leadership.
I've realized that by following you. Seems like that's what you've been talking about when you do videos and stuff.
Right, and when it comes to the window film industry, that's where a lot of people can use help, including myself. One of the most, and this is the reason why I started the Tintstitute. In the window film industry specifically, and it goes into the wrap industry, a lot of people have trouble keeping team members. And that's because once team members learn how to wrap and learn how to tint,
they want to go do it themselves.
The philosophy is I can. So as leaders, we need to always be in a position to teach our team members things, not just about installation, but life lessons, growing as people. Otherwise, just like when you're on the freeway, when you catch up to someone behind them and you're in the fast lane, you go around them.
Yeah.
So as a leader in the fast lane, we need to not let our team members go around us, rather just speed up. Be the guy where when somebody comes up behind you, you just go, okay, you want to go faster? I'll speed up. I'll read another book. I'll learn something, and I'll bring more leadership to the company rather than just being complacent and just being a window tinter. Now, again, I love this industry, but a lot of people are more focused on their tinting skills rather than being a businessman or evolving as a better leader.
Yeah, rather than working on their personal development.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Too. I mean, that's like, here's a good question for me that I'll give for you. And this is a good question. This is a good question that I ask anytime I go into a high-end home, which at a certain part of my career, I did all the time.
Okay.
I don't do flat glass installations for our company anymore, but that was probably my favorite part, where every day I was going into a nice high-end home, and I would, at the end of every installation, I'd say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, do you mind if I ask you something? Yeah, absolutely. What is it? What is one thing you wish somebody would have told you when you were 32 years old? I'm 32 now, so if I went into a high-end home, I'd say that. When at the time I was 25 or
whatever the age was.
Right. What's one thing you wish somebody would have told you when you were 25? And if somebody asked me that question, I would say to start saving something for retirement from your very first paycheck. Because you can. Everyone's, including myself, I made these mistakes too.
Yeah.
Everyone's under the impression that I don't have enough money to save. But if the IRS decided to change the taxes and turn them up a little bit, you would have that money to pay them because you would have no choice. If you think of it as absolutely no choice, I have to save, starting with maybe 3 or 5%. You know, if you're not making much money, you have to. There's no negotiation. Just like if our taxes all went up, we would, because we would have to. So to bring that level of intensity is what I wish I did when I was 19 and I first bought the business.
I could say the same thing about myself. I wish I would have done the same thing.
And unfortunately, I didn't get started with my retirement savings until I was 26. So, I lost 7 years that I'll never be able to get back. And when it comes to compounding interest, that we're talking about a ton of money at 59 and a half. We're not talking about a ton of money. One of the books that I listen to on a yearly basis, he talks about a 19-year-old that starts saving from 19 to 27, and then a 27-year-old that saves from 27 to 59 and a half.
Okay.
The first guy has more because of the power of compound interest.
No, absolutely, that makes sense. No, that's a good point. I really like that. Thanks for adding that. I appreciate that. I think people will also appreciate that.
Yeah, I want to give a great question for those leaders out there that do interviews with people, if you don't mind.
Okay.
One of my favorite interview questions when we're interviewing for new team members is, if you were to die tomorrow, what do you wish people would say about you at your funeral? Because that question is going to reveal what their values are, what is important to them. I would want people to know about me that I always kept my word. I did what I said I was going to do when I said I was going to do it. I showed up on time. I stayed late. I never gave up. These types of things. Yeah. I can go on, but that's a great question. Again, this is just a leadership tip.
That was a very good question.
If you were to die tomorrow, what do you wish people would say about you? Okay? They answer. They say all the great things that you want to hear, obviously. And then you say, what do you think they would say about you? And that's asking for their flaws. If they're not going to be transparent about their flaws, he could have done this, he could have done that, then that lack of transparency is a red flag in itself.
Nice. So, no, that's good. I can tell you do a lot more talking to people than I do. What's your favorite film to use? Like, what do you guys use when you're doing wraps and stuff? Just because I'm more into wraps than tinting. Like, I don't tint. Only kind of tinting I do is tinting like headlights and taillights with PPF. That's the only kind of stuff I do. Mainly probably because I tried tinting when I was younger and hated it, but because I wasn't taught properly. But I'm just curious, which films do you guys use mainly when you're doing wraps?
So it's mainly Avery, 3M, and Oracle.
Okay.
We use all films. It's going to come down to what color they choose. And when they're choosing the color, we're also going to talk to them about the benefits and disadvantages of the different films. So they may pick up an Avery color that they really like,
yeah,
and we're going to let them know that that's a great color. We enjoy working with Avery, and we think it's a great film. Understand that it is going to have a little bit more texture, a little bit more orange peel than some of the other films. Now, some of the other films may have less texture, but it's not going to be as conformable, so you might have some more seams. So there's pros and cons to every film. Another little tip, if you will, I don't even like using that word really, another suggestion. When you're describing things to customers like that, and I just had this scenario come up today, oftentimes I use the analogy of a bulletproof vest.
Okay.
A bulletproof vest for a specific purpose, obviously to block a bullet penetrating your chest. Yep. But it doesn't look great. Now, a t-shirt looks great, but it has no purpose other than to cover you up from being naked. It serves nothing. It doesn't make you look nice at a formal event. It's the bare minimum, which is kind of like what a dyed film is. Or I guess the bare minimum of the wrap industry as far as quality would be like a cheetah wrap. It's the benefit of cheetah wrap is that it's highly conformable, but it's super textured. Okay,
I've never used it, so I wouldn't know.
So cheetah wrap is, yeah, that's kind of like the t-shirt of wrapping. Now, that's an analogy I use a lot for things where, you might have a disadvantage here, but you're going to get an advantage over here, which is the bulletproof vest analogy. Yeah. Okay. But we use all kinds of film in conclusion to your question.
Okay. Is that same thing for printing film? You guys just use whatever works best for the vehicle you're working on, kind of thing?
That is true. When it comes to commercial wraps, I'd say 90% of the time we print on Avery.
Okay. Have you used Arlen?
Arlen, I can't say that we have.
No, okay. I was just curious because that's what we use mainly right now, and I was curious if what you thought the difference was there.
Yeah, and I really wouldn't know. I don't do very many installations anymore at all, and I definitely never have done any ordering.
No, okay.
No, I'm not a guy at all. My wife is the details, nitty gritty. She can tell you the prices. She can tell you all the details of what film we use and last time we ordered it and all that. I'm really focused on the big picture, and I would say 75% of my focus is doing videos and getting back to people on the Tintstitute. I'm just really enjoying helping other people with no strings attached, hoping that one day it'll come back around.
Yeah. No, that's...
But there's no counting on it. There's no timeline on it. I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't...
No, that's the reason I started doing this and wanting to interview guys like you and get, pick your brains a bit, is to help other people. That's the whole goal of this, just give people free knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's great. I mean, I love watching podcasts like this.
I know I don't have a huge following, but, I thought if I can help, I can help, right? If I can help one person, then it's worth it to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, man, I really appreciate your time. I don't know if I have too many more questions for you. We can always do a part 2 later down the line.
Absolutely.
I know a couple of guys have said that already, that they'd gladly do a part 2. So, thank you.
I'll do it.
Awesome. Anyway, thanks for taking your time to do this with me. I appreciate that, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.